Today I'll be talking about all the different ways that you can watch NFL football. I'll be doing NFL, not college, but what is the best way to watch football? What is it? Today I'll be grading each and every way to watch it, whether it's rewatching it, the full, it on demand, the condensed game, NFL Red Zone, watching the highlights of it, watching just the regular full game, and more. I will help you to decide what is the best way. If you like this video, to consider subscribing because I make high quality sports content on all the major sports leagues and the college leagues. Without further ado, let's get into this. First, we're going to talk about watching it on demand. And of course this is inferior, but it's going to get a couple bumps up because nobody chooses to do it on demand in the first place. But the simple fact that it exists gets a couple bumps up because the only reason why you'd watch it like this is because you forgot to watch the game live, and it's a W that the NFL even has this. No, I'm talking about the full game rewatching it. So it gets at least a C+ or B- for the fact that it exists and that you can rewatch it at any single time you want. Some positives are you don't really have to stick to a schedule. It's not like you have to watch it at 1 o'clock because you're busy there, or you just don't really feel like watching the NFL game. If this wasn't a feature, then you'd have to watch it at the time the game was live, and you didn't have an option to rewatch it. And yeah, so you can basically just choose whenever you want to watch it. You can choose to watch it weeks later. Now, watching it later also has its disadvantages. You cannot react with the community live, you cannot see people's reaction to it. You can't watch it with your family, and you can't really watch it live as much. And it's not like there's commercial breaks where you can go get the chips or do something else with it. You can't really react with it really as much with other people. Also, of course, you gotta avoid spoilers. It's really hard just to watch it. The sports are there for an easy escape to the real world, and it's without thinking of anything, and it's kind of hard to avoid spoilers. Also, it's kind of tempting to just not watch it because when you're watching it live, it's like, oh, I can't not watch it. I'm already watching it. But when it's on demand, you could just not watch it because when you're watching it live, you're under the assumption that there's no other time that you can watch it. When you're watching on demand, you could watch it anytime, so you're tempted to not watch it. It's not as immersive, plus it's not as fun, and also, when I say immersive, you're not as immersed in the NFL. You can't follow your fantasy stats while it's happening. You can't talk to other people about it, and you also can't flip from game to game. One of the best features is NFL Red Zone, which flips game to game, which we will talk about that. And also you get to switch full game to full game. This does not give you that feature. It's a W that exists, but it's also kind of a pain, so I'll give it a B-. Next is just the regular old full game. You could just switching around from full game to full game. This is the steady and solid way. You get to see your favorite team play, react live, switch games, and you check your fantasy stats and everything. It's truly really, really elite. And I really like it, even though it might be long, and the negatives are that it takes a long time. There's commercial breaks. You don't really get to see as much other games because of local restrictions, and you don't really and it's kind of boring sometimes, and it takes a long time. It's time consuming, and it's an inconvenient, and in terms of watching it, it's a little inconvenient, but not inconvenient, but a little inferior. But other than that, it's great. You get to react live, and you get to watch the full game. It's not like a condensed game where you don't really get to take it in. You get to take in each play. There's breaks in between. You get to do the snacks. This is like the best way to immerse yourself in the team. And it's not like NFL Red Zone where it's jumping. You truly get to watch the game. This is the best way to watch the game and make your analysis, because it's not like a condensed game where like it skips. No, you have full time to take it in. You can check your stats. You can get snacks. There's commercial breaks. You can watch it with your buddies. Plus, it's just one of the best ways. Even if you can't really switch around NFL games, and if it takes a long time, I feel it's well worth it. And you also do not get to miss your favorite team's game. This gets an A. Next is NFL Red Zone. This is one of my favorites. Unless you pirate the games, I feel like NFL Red Zone is probably the best way. The NFL has this dumb thing called local restrictions, where you can only watch your 2 local games unless you have DirecTV, and NFL Sunday tickets. And so to get around this, you can get NFL Red Zone. NFL Red Zone is great because it allows you to watch every single NFL game and truly immerse yourself into the NFL world. And also, you never get to miss any action. When people say, did you see that play? You can see it. And you fully, because when you're watching a full game, you don't see everything from every game. And then you can miss a lot of stuff, and you have to go afterwards to look at the highlights and rewatch other games. Here, it's live, and you get to see everything from every game. And it's not like NFL Game Day highlights where it just shows you the highlights where there's already scores. No, you get to do this for every single thing. And if there's a highlight play that you missed that's not in the red zone, they go back to it. It's live football that shows you every single advantage, and it's commercial free. A lot of it is it's 7 hours, but it's not really as time consuming because you don't have breaks in between as much, and you can still grab your buddies and watch it with people. And the host is very good. It's truly the most convenient, quick, and easy way of watching, and it immerses you into the NFL more. Now, in terms of watching the game, it gets you immersed into NFL that more, but in terms of the games that you're watching, it's kind of an L. Say that you want to watch this really good game and that you just want to sit down and watch the one drive of a game. It's like, I'm interested in this game. Too bad, every single they just got a first down and they're not in the red zone. Poof, they're switching to the Texans versus the Colts in a non-important game that just because it's in the red zone. You truly don't really get to immerse yourself in that game. You get to see the big time plays, but not really what's happening in the full story of the game, which when you comment on the game, your opinion doesn't really matter as much. And you also don't really plus you could end up being stuck like that. It's kind of, you don't really get to choose what you watch, they choose what you watch, and sometimes it can end up you missing a lot of little plays from the big games, and sometimes not seeing touchdowns live that are not in the red zone. And yeah, also that, and also you don't really get to take time to analyze and scout players in between, because they basically just show the big plays and they switch in between. It's rushing, and you're focused on the play, and you're not really focused on the players as much. And yeah, even though in terms of game watching, like, you can't really get immersed in a game, it's truly great. It gets you the most wide coverage, immerses you in the NFL, and is truly the most convenient and entertaining way to watch it. I give it an A+. Lastly, we have the NFL Condensed Game. This is basically like the full game replay, so it has all the advantages and disadvantages there, but it's quicker. Now, it does better in terms of you don't really feel tempted to click off of, because even though it's still not live, it's basically what a condensed game is. After every single play, they just cut to the next play. It's very, very fast. No more meaningless fluff. And it's great for when you just want to get somewhere quickly, or you just want to quick watch an NFL game because you missed it. Because unless you're diehard, when you're rewatching the game, you don't really want to watch all the stuff in between. So yeah, that's good. It's quick and easy. Gets you a quick fix. Basically rewatching a game, but it's quicker and it's more convenient and it keeps you entertained. I feel like this is basically the better version of rewatching a game, because it's still the goodness of rewatching a game, but it's also condensed. The bad thing about it is it's over before you know it. You don't really get to get immersed in the game. Sure, it's the quickest way and it feeds you and it grabs your attention longer, but kind of like NFL Red Zone, you don't really get to get immersed in the game as much, because after each and every play, boom, it's the next play. You don't really get to think and analyze that play unless you pause it. It's not very great for scouting, but it's great for a quick fix. Not very a big way to watch it. Plus, it's over in 40 minutes, so it's not like you're enjoying it for that long. But it's still the most entertaining way to rewatch an NFL game, and it's quick. It's basically the better version of the normal rewatching a game. It's called an NFL in 40. So, yeah, and I don't get this from NFL Game Gas. Pirate, don't tell anyone. So, yeah, this gets a B. That'll do it for this video. That's the 4 major ways. There probably is more, but I don't have time to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.